Okay. Good evening, everybody. How exciting is this? I'm like buzzing. It might be 10 o'clock at night, but I'm absolutely buzzing. So we have got Rebecca Saxton on our call tonight, and I'm so grateful that Rebecca's took the time out to talk to us tonight. She's going to have a chat about her journey. She's happy to open up for questions, so we can ask a really tricky, like, ingredients question. No, we won't really. We'll just ask you questions like, what did you do, and how did you become so successful, things like that. And Fiona arranged this, and she said, "Oh, I can get Rebecca Saxton on the call." And it's funny because people in my team and myself, we've never personally met Rebecca, but she's known in our team as that really pretty one. And you've sort of like got that name in our team. So I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, that that's kind of what you're known for. But your profile picture is stunning, and you come across as such a genuine, nice, warm, lovely person. And I got that feel from you on the phone earlier today and now. And you do just come across like what everybody says you are, a wonderful, nice person. And Claire Shaw wrote something on my page as well saying, "Oh, can my team jump on the call? Because Rebecca's a lovely girl." I was like, "Yeah, why not? Everybody can come on." So you really are lovely. You're known for being a lovely girl in Arbonne, and I love a nice person. So thank you so much for coming on the call. And just
thank you, Annie. I'm absolutely flattered. That is so sweet. Thank you. Gorgeous.
So just tell us all about your story, Rebecca, how you got involved, how you heard about it, your journey, anything you want to tell us. Just the stage is yours, my darling.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for that absolutely beautiful introduction. I'm honoured to be here and really, really flattered by those gorgeous things that you said. So thank you, Danny. You're a sweetheart. Yeah, hello, everybody. And so nice to see you all. And I look forward to meeting some of you guys because, like Danny said, we've not met in person yet. So I know that it won't be long before we do. But yeah, really, really, really delighted to be here, and so amazing to see so many of you on the call at this time of night. So thank you very much for having me, and look forward to sharing with you. I'm just going to share with you some of my story and my journey, and I really had to think about some of the main things I would say that have influenced my journey and have, I would say, sort of shaped me and changed me, because this business has just had such a radical impact on so many aspects of my life. And I think because of this business, it's had an impact on so many aspects of my family's life as well. So, you know, it's so worth it. You know, wherever you're at, whatever stage you're at in the business, then it's just the right place to be at exactly the right time for you. So well done for saying yes, and extra well done for being on a call, because that in itself is massive. So just know that you're all incredible. And pardon?
Especially so late.
Yeah, it's all right, isn't it? We can sleep afterwards. So yeah, I started my Arbonne business just 3 years ago, just gone 3 years ago, and my background was really corporate, and I was a management consultant. I was working for a company, a global company, doing business and IT, really, even though I'm not at all a technical person, and I'm not really, well, I did business at university, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I ended up getting this job, and I think I was very attracted to financial security. And I thought that I had a family member who'd done this, and I'd seen that he had been successful. And I thought, well, actually, I'm just going to get to work and secure, you know, a great job and work hard and, you know, see the benefits. So got this really brilliant job, but always knew that it wasn't really, really me. And my mum was a nurse, actually, and she nursed all of her life. And I was so in awe of what she'd done, and I think my heart was always kind of more with helping people in a way that I'd seen demonstrated by my mum. So for me, working in corporate business, I just didn't feel satisfied or fulfilled. So even though we'd be doing great projects and, you know, it would be making a difference for big clients, I just didn't feel in any way satisfied by that work. So whilst I was doing it, I was having a great time, making loads of friends, but I knew in my heart of hearts that this wasn't me, but I did not know what I was going to do. And so for years, I literally was open thinking, what am I going to do? And I would search A to Z of jobs, and I just knew I was going to make a change, but I didn't know what that would be. And then my husband and I got married, and we went travelling. And during that year, we had an amazing time, and we decided I'm not going to go back to work, because if I go back to work, then I'm never going to get out, because there'll always be a reason why I should stay, and never be the right time just to quit. So I literally handed my notice in on the first day back after a year. And then I did some voluntary work. And during that time, I just decided that I was going to really kind of build up a side of me that I think I'd neglected, and really try and figure out what I was interested in, who I wanted to work with, how I wanted to help people. And during that time, I got pregnant. And so it was all perfect timing, because I was then able to really enjoy my pregnancy. And I thought, you know what, maybe this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to stay at home, and I'm going to look after Stanley, my little boy, and, enjoy this moment. And I did, and I absolutely loved my pregnancy, and I loved being at home with my little boy. And then it was really sort of about 18 months after having him that I sort of realised the impact of not having worked for quite a long time. So I probably hadn't been working for about 2.5 years by the time that I was introduced to Arbonne. And without realising it, it had a really big effect on my confidence. And I'd always see myself as quite a confident person. I'd always push myself, and I'd always kind of, in my corporate life, I'd always kind of, put myself in front of people. But I just began to feel more and more sort of self-conscious when I was in groups. Making new friends was more difficult. I found that more difficult. Just a lot of negative sort of self-talk was going on before I even knew what that was, before I even knew that there was a name for that. And so my friend introduced Arbonne to me while we were walking the dog one day, and she couldn't explain it for anything. And it makes me realise that you really, when you start, you really don't need to worry about what to say. It's just how you say it, and it's having that rapport with that person. Because I trusted my friend, and she literally was saying to me, I've heard about Arbonne, it sounds really amazing, everyone's talking about it, maybe you should have a look and do it. And I thought, yeah, why not? So timing wise, it was perfect for me, and I went along and heard about the business, and it made sense for me from a business point of view. So all of my business experience kind of came into play then, and I thought, yeah, I get this. If people can do this and make it work, then there's no reason why I can't do it and make it work too. So I pretty soon after I heard the presentation, just jumped in with both feet and just went all out, and just did what I was advised to do, spoke to people, and sponsored people into the business, and set them up, and promoted to district quite quickly. And then I would probably say it was maybe about sort of 6 months or more into my business, and it was all going great. I was absolutely loving it, this new lease of life and these new friends that I made. And I started to realise that actually, probably a lot of the impact of having time out and my confidence, like when I started to hit hurdles in my Arbonne business, I don't know if any of you guys can relate to this, but when things are flying and things are great, then it's all rosy, and then you can hit the road bumps along the way, and all of a sudden you realise actually this is going to take a different type of work than what I expected. It's going to for me it's going to look like this, and I realised that was going to be working on my confidence and my self-belief. And that was quite a shock to me, because I hadn't really sort of realised that was an issue. But I knew that if I was going to go out and attract people to join me in the business, then I was going to have to work on myself, because I just had such little sort of self-belief that I was really, really struggling to go out there and put myself out there. But because I was so absolutely determined to make it work, then I wasn't going to run away from it. I saw it as my chance to actually almost get a grip of things and sort myself out so that I could go on and then see success in Arbonne. So it was like a trigger, really. It was the best thing that could have happened to me, but at the time it felt like the worst. It was the hardest challenge every day, going out and trying to speak to people. But there was no way that I was going to quit. So I got to work, and personal development is going to be one of the big things that I want to talk about, because that, embracing personal development is, as far as I'm concerned, it's the difference maker. And it's the difference between probably staying where you are or being around that place and achieving great things in this business, and also achieving great things within yourself and in your life outside of Arbonne. So really got to work on personal development and sort out everything that I needed in order to help myself grow. Didn't always know what that was, but just spoke to so many different people. And then 2 years, so 1 year after I started my business, I promoted to area manager. And then pretty much 2 years after starting my business, we promoted to region. And I'll chat a little bit about the region push, because I think it's really incredible. I was absolutely blown away to hear that you guys have built up this team in 11 months. And I think it's just so phenomenal, the position that you're all in. And I really want to share with you sort of the team spirit that I feel was an enormous part of us completing region, and also having such a strong region now, because the sideline relationships in our team are just incredible, and it's like everybody's friends. It's absolutely one joined up unit, which starts like exactly where you guys are now. And even if you're brand new, then don't underestimate what an important part of this team you are, because you're all so valued and so much respected by everybody else for being in this business, that you've got your own place in this team. And the best thing is about this business is that you want to own your place in that team and just be a part of it, because that's what it's all about. That you'll see that as you grow in the business. So I've had a little think about kind of my the key things that have played a big part in my journey. And I wouldn't necessarily say this is the journey to region, it's just my journey in Arbonne overall. And I'd say that the biggest thing that I think has changed is my kind of self-awareness. And when I think now about the person that I was 2 years ago, who was very self-critical, and had a lot of negative self-talk. So the chatter that literally is, as I used to think, it's uncontrollable. So when you listen to people in Arbonne saying, mind your mind and get your chimp off your shoulder and all that stuff, I would sit there and think, I can't. I would just say, yeah, but mine's louder, clearly, because mine won't shut up. I can't stop it. So for a long time, I've had to work really hard to get that under control. And I think one of the things that I realised is that because I was so determined to make this work, I would charge headfirst at every situation. So, if I met somebody and in my head I'd be thinking, I need to speak to them about Arbonne in some way. I need to build a relationship with them. I need to make something of this situation. So I would always charge into a situation to try and create an opportunity. But then if it didn't go in the way that I'd almost expected it to go, I would just come crashing down and be so critical. I couldn't see the good in it. I'd only see the bad. I couldn't see, the fact that maybe aspects of the conversation were really brilliant, or maybe actually it was a really great conversation, but maybe if it didn't get the outcome that I was hoping for, I'd just be beating myself up about that. So that's been a massive learning, to actually be more present and really focus on the conversations and just be involved in the conversation rather than actually trying to kind of control it, and only being satisfied if I got an outcome that I thought was appropriate, which was usually them either saying yes to the business or saying yes to the product. But I feel now, this is a bigger picture. This is a longer term journey, and actually this is about what is right for them. So the sooner that we can, see that. And for a long time, I think I was so scared of it not working, for me, even though I knew it was possible and I believed that I would do it, but I was so terrified, I think, that I would always be being critical of myself, that I just had to learn how to see it as more of a long-term relationship building type of business. And that's changed everything for me now. And now when I go out and meet people, I'm far more present. I feel like I'm making more friends because of it. And I know that the people that I meet today, in some capacity, will likely have some impact on my business, whether that's just that they're a friend and therefore I'm feeling good about my life and my business is moving forward as a result of that, or that they come to an event, or that they recommend me to somebody, or that in 2 years' time they buy a product. So I'm just more open-minded about it all, because I've stopped sort of trying to control the outcome so much. So I think that's one thing, is just being a bit more, like being really, really self-aware and thinking about what is it, how do you respond to other people's choices, because that's their business, like that's their choices. You can't control that. So the sooner that we realise that, then actually we can sort of sit into ourselves a bit more. Do you know what I mean? Like we don't have to sort of be somebody different. We just become comfortable with who we are, which I think is a massive thing. You know, get comfortable with who you are, and that does take work. You know, it really, really does take work, and that's this. I mean, the personal development and seeking out exactly what you need, I would say, is key. And the way to do that is by showing up, because it could, and you'll have heard this, I mean, all of these things, I think we hear them all the time, but it's just being really open and listening, like, to what you need to hear at the time. So, you know, being at everything is so, so important. So whatever it takes, make sure you're at every conference that's coming up, every car presentation. You know, get in your car and drive. As soon as you see the date published, get your diary out, speak to your family, do whatever you need to do, jig whatever you need to jig around, but make sure you're there, because it's those conversations that you'll have with the people that are there. You know, it may be the training, there may be some training that you have some light bulb moment in, but often for me it was the conversations with the people. And also that was massively pushing me out of my comfort zone. And I would go to these events and stand there and think to myself, I need to go and speak to a national vice president. I haven't got a clue what to say. I'm absolutely terrified. I know I'm going to look like an idiot. Mm-hmm. I literally will go up to them and my mouth will be like zipped with a padlock, and I'll be standing there like, but I'm going to do it anyway. You know, I had to do it, because I knew that if I could just think of one question to ask them and just let it come out of my mouth, then they're going to give me something amazing, like whatever it is, it's going to help me. And actually what I realise now is that it was the asking that was helping me as well. So being willing to actually go up and speak to someone that I was feeling terrified about speaking to was probably a massive learning in itself. So always, whatever you're feeling uncomfortable about, that is what you've got to do. That is a real simple way of looking at it. And I was chatting to someone in my team about this the other day, because I was asking people did they feel their obstacles were, and she said to me, well, at the moment, I don't really feel like I've got any obstacles. And I said, that's absolutely brilliant. That's so amazing. You know, keep going. You're doing brilliantly. But could I just maybe suggest that if you don't feel like anything's really challenging you, are you really stretching yourself? And there were areas in her business where she was more comfortable and was staying, rather than pressing herself into areas that were a bit more uncomfortable. And it's when you move into those areas that are a bit more uncomfortable that you then start to see big changes in yourself, because you've got to kind of not only embrace something new, but you've then got to deal with how it feels. And I think that's a massive part of this business, is how you respond to some of the stuff that we do, because we're always putting ourselves out there. So the quicker that you can get better at dealing with some of the stuff that feels uncomfortable, the better, definitely. And then I've kind of talked about this a little bit as well, but facing fears. And these all link together really for me. I mean, personal development and doing things that make you feel uncomfortable, that is just my journey through and through. And I think that I've sort of adopted a mindset of there's no excuses ever. Because if you want this and you really want, everyone wants different things from this business. And, I've come to recognise that actually my desire to help people, which I've had since I was a little girl, I've always wanted to help people. I never imagined that it would be in the shape of a health and wellness business. I mean, ever. And on the surface of it, who does, because it's a product-based business. But the impact that we can have, you have to sort yourself out, focus on yourself, build yourself up in order to then be able to help other people. And the more compassionate you are to yourself, so all the time that I was criticising myself and being negative and telling myself I can't do it and having these constant battles with myself in my own head, I'm not having that compassion towards myself. And when you're not feeling compassionate towards yourself, then you can't really truly really help anybody else, because you've got to feel that for yourself before you can actually offer that to others. And that's one thing that I recognise now, is that when it comes to working with other people, I feel like, because I've been so honest with myself about my own journey, that I hear them and I say to them, I often say to people on my team, listen, I totally understand exactly what you're saying. I can relate to so much of this. But I just want to assure you that you can do it. You can do it. I have absolute belief in you. It's going to take work and it's not going to happen overnight. But honestly, if I can go from the place that I was in to feeling so much better about myself, then so can you. And that's the truth of this business. That's why it's so incredible, because it really does change lives, and it starts with you, and then the impact is going to be incredible. You see this. I mean, I met one of my upline MVPs, like upline MVPs in Las Vegas, Executive National Vice President Phoebe Fournier, and she was just blown away to see that me and an area manager in my team who were there at the White Party, she kind of all of a sudden had a moment where she thought, wow, I'm having an impact on these people's lives that live in the UK. And we were talking about our children, and she was really, really moved by that. And how long has she been in this business? Years and years and years. And how many people like us are sitting there? And ultimately, that's because she said yes and because she didn't quit.
Wasn't she one of Donna's first?
Yeah, she's been in the business for a long time. Yeah. She's amazing. She said to me, the last thing she said to me, it was almost like just a little comment, she's just got so much wisdom and experience. And she just said to me, if you can see every experience in your life, every single experience in your life as an opportunity to learn, then you're going to be fine. No matter whether you think it's a good experience or a bad experience, you just need to see that it's part of your journey and that it's going to help you learn. How can this help me learn? And that's huge, isn't it? Because I think for a long time, everything that didn't go right was just a disaster, and I wanted it to be perfect, so I wasn't willing to tolerate it, and that's why I would beat myself up. Whereas now, if things don't, well, I have less of a expectation now. I just go into things thinking, well, what will happen, and I assess the situation, but I'm not critical about it now. I don't beat myself up forever about it. You just got to move on. Things happen, reflect, learn from it, move on, and just keep doing that, time and time again. So yeah, I just want to talk a little bit about Region, because it's such an exciting time for you guys, and I've heard brilliant things about this team and how you're all fearless, like your leader. And I think team spirit is so, so important. So the fact that you've all shown up for this call is really brilliant. And this is the time, if you want to be a leader and you want to step up, this is the time to do it, because Danny reaching regional vice president and you as a team becoming a region, and that Mercedes is going to be the evidence for all of you. When you can say my sponsor or my sponsor's sponsor, or my friend Danny, or I work with her all the time, when you can bring that closer to you, it has more impact on your business. So it's going to be a hugely powerful thing for all of you guys. And because as well, as you're working towards building a region, your own business, of course, is going to grow. So you're getting one step there closer yourself. And we built such an amazing team spirit. I think we had a huge amount of volume to do in the last 3 days of the month, but we none of us stopped. We didn't say, we just said we're doing it, and we absolutely did it. And I think one of the things that I'd taken on board quite early on in my business was the impact that you could have on someone else's life. And when I first started my business, there was me and my first consultant, Lisa, who was in Australia. And we'd been doing the business for a couple of months. And our national vice president, Yvonne Dixon, was about to go region. And she was going to be the first person in the Northwest to get the Mercedes. And we didn't have a clue what we were doing, but it was the last day of the month. And I just said to Lisa, you know, we've got to contribute towards this. We've got to find a way to bring some volume in today. And so I drove from Manchester to Surrey, I think it was, for a car presentation that was on the last day of the month. And it was to sponsor a girl in Lisa's business. So it was to go meet her because she was in Australia. And that journey, obviously, you know, however many hours, it was absolutely critical that I did it because it was the last day of the month and it was going to make a difference. And we spot, you know, Gemma joined the business, and the impact of that was huge on Yvonne's push for region. And she still says to me today, you and your team played a huge role in making it happen. So it's always noticed when you go the extra mile. And because of that story, I was then able to share with my team when we were going region, this is what's possible, but we all have to link arms and do it together. And if you do, then you'll see the impact in your own business, because actually it's just an incredible achievement for all of us. It's not one person's, you know, it's not an individual effort. It's a team. It's a massively a team effort. So I would just say keep going, because you're nearly there. Just every single bit of volume helps, you know, every single thing. Don't hold back. Just go all out every single day. Don't even look at the calendar. Just treat each day like it's the first day of the month.
Oh, that's lovely. And then, Rebecca, what does it feel like to be a regional vice president? Is it like you imagined it to be?
I think it was, for me, getting region was really good for me to sort of really believe that I could do it. Like I said to you, I kind of always knew that I could, because I did think if other people can do it, so can I. I always had that attitude. But it's just given me a confidence, I suppose, and a bit more of a calmness. But that didn't come like overnight, obviously, like nothing does in this business. You don't just wake up one morning and everything's different. It's a journey, and it's so true. You just notice the effect of that, you know, over time. So I think, you know, one thing I love is that every single point in your Arbonne business stretches you. So it's not like you hit a level and anything significantly changes. It's just that you're moving forward and you're taking other people with you. And that's one of the things that's so incredible, is seeing everybody around you growing with you and building those relationships. And, you know, my team have all been doing their vision videos and sending me the vision videos. And I just love watching them lay out what their dreams are. And then I get to see the journey and the development in them. So I get to see other people's confidence building. So it just feels good, because it's just about personal growth. And I love that, because I love the fact that, I've had that experience myself. And I get now to help other people to experience it too.
I love that part. I love the part that you can give somebody the skills to learn to get from where they are to where they want to be. That for me is my favourite thing about this business, is just being able to teach somebody, because I think a lot of us are in a place where we are, but we want to be over there, whatever that might be. We might want to travel more, we might want more free time, we might want more money, whatever it is. We've all got different wants and desires, but most people don't know how to move from where they are to where they want to be. They don't know how to bridge that gap. Yeah. And I love that we can give people the skills and the support and the motivation and the kick up the backside, and we can give what somebody needs to move them. I love that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's amazing. There's literally nothing. There's nothing like it. There's really nothing like it. And the energy that you get from everybody else, it's so inspiring and uplifting. And, you know, the business itself, is straightforward. The business itself is there for us all to dip into. So the difference is you. You know, the difference is what are you going to do in order to to become more, to create more, in order to be able to give more. And I think that's where the training is so important, because that's where you're going to develop yourself. So, you know, it's just being everything, listening to everything, reading everything, you know, finding things that inspire you and following your heart into areas where it feels like good. You know, this is what I need to work on, so I'm going to focus on this.
Yeah. Nobody's put any questions, so I'm just going to take full advantage. Okay, the things that I'm always most interested to ask are, who are your favourite, like, NVPs or VPs? Like, who did you really look up to? What are your favourite Arbonne products? And what are your favourite books or audios?
Okay, cool. So, books and audios, anything relating to the mind, really. That's my kind of interest area. I do read other things as well, but I tend to find myself being naturally drawn back to stuff that's going to kind of help me understand, you know, myself. So I love Dr. Shad Helmstetter, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, The Secret and Rhonda Byrne's books. That was like a revelation to me. And I remember for a long time, I had to reread The Secret time and time again, and listen to The Secret time and time again, because it just was a whole new way of thinking for me. And I had to keep reminding myself, what you think about, you bring about. So all the time that I might be, you know, being negative, and it's not that I was a negative person. I wasn't negative about everything else that was going on around me. It was just kind of all in my head. But I had to really get my head around that. And now it makes so much sense to me. What you think about, you bring about. What you speak about, you bring about. You know, getting to the place where if you've got, you know, if you're about to say something that's not going to really serve anyone or the situation, you know, there's no point, because you're giving airtime to something that you don't want to grow. And that's not a brushing under the carpet situation. It's just actually, you know, embracing the positive things in life and supporting, you know, being kind to yourself and not dismissing those things, but just actually focusing on what you want to create and what you want to be able to create with other people. I love watching TED Talks. I find that, you know, go on to TED and just look at inspiring talks, and whether it's relevant to Arbonne in some way, or relative to leadership or inspiration or whatever, or just fascinating people telling stories, because, you know, you just see people's journeys, and I find that so inspiring. And then Wayne Dyer, so anything by Wayne Dyer I love listening to. So those are the sorts of things I like to listen and read. And then in terms of, what was the other question was around people in Arbonne?
What MVPs did you like, or what people in Arbonne did you were blown away by, or who did you stalk on Facebook?
I think I always saw, like, I find anyone who stands up to speak, which is, I suppose, when you're first starting to get to know people and the characters in Arbonne, would just fascinate me, because I suppose I'd sit there thinking, you know, I could never do that. And so I always was drawn to, I guess, stepping out of my comfort zone and, you know, really speaking to anybody who, because you come to realise, don't you, that everyone's so open and wants to help you. So, you know, the national vice presidents, it always fascinated me, because I just wanted to know what they did, and I was willing to learn. So, you know, and now always listening to anything that a national vice president puts out. So obviously Upline national vice presidents in Yvonne Dixon and Ian Pritchard, and then Sarah Dunning, always listen to recordings on Google Drive. But I think it's just talking to everyone and anyone, and, you know, when I go to Las Vegas and meet, and this year was really incredible going to GTC and hearing from the national vice presidents who we don't normally get to kind of hear from, and because you realise that when people do this business in different ways, you can pick up so much, because I suppose each nation and different countries are doing things slightly differently. So I found that fascinating as well, and starting to listen to, some audios and recordings by national vice presidents in different countries. So I've been using the Source a lot recently, and listening to Learn and Burns, and just listening to anybody. Anybody, I don't necessarily know who they are, but just thinking, well, actually, you've got some experience that I can learn from. So I'm massively into just really anyone who's got anything to say, I'll just listen to.
There was another question on the chat as well. It's come through privately to me. It's from Emma Edwards, who's director Ian Pritchard.
Hello, Emma.
Oh, do you know her?
Yeah, I do.
It's just because it's exciting to me. She's put, it's so amazing to hear from you. So approachable. You're such a kind person. Can she ask? She's really interested to know how you found the move to somewhere new and starting a business with Cold Market.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you, Emma, for your question. So how did I find it? It was exactly what I needed. It was the perfect next challenge for me, because I was living where I'd grown up, and I think in a way being so comfortable, although when I say comfortable, I don't necessarily mean that it was easy, because it wasn't, because I was going, I was bumping into people I used to go to school with, and it was not that being where I grew up was easy, but it was everything that I knew. And going to a new place meant that it was an opportunity for me to kind of almost really step into this new, more confident version of myself. So I had the opportunity to, we decided to move, and I decided in my head that this was going to be an opportunity for me to go out there and to just really own myself, just to put myself out there, and to know as well that nobody kind of really knew me was actually quite refreshing. Because I suppose in a place where you think everybody knows you, then you can kind of get caught up in what's their perception of you, and then you can become a bit self-conscious. Whereas in a place where nobody knows you, you could be anyone. No one has any preconceived opinions. So I found that helped me to really be present, because I wasn't taking with me kind of any sort of belief that, I wasn't taking with me any belief that they had an opinion about me, because no one knew me. So I would go out and meet people, and I think I moved just under a year ago, and my experience of meeting people in a cold market has just been to make friends and build relationships. And it has meant that I've not, I think when you're doing that in a more, rather than kind of going out there and sponsor and build your team and build your client base really, really quickly, I've gone out there and just nurtured lots and lots of relationships, and now I'm starting to see stuff coming through. So my business has consistently grown since I've moved down here, but I just see it as making friends with people, letting them know what I do in a very, very relaxed way, and inviting them to events and almost letting them see this is part of me, and then figuring out what aspect of what I do could be of interest to them. So it kind of has happened much more naturally. It happens much more naturally for me now. I don't feel quite so much like looking for people, hunting things out. I just feel like I'm more relaxed within myself, calmer, and enjoying building relationships more, and being more open-minded to where they might lead, and being patient as well. But just keeping on doing it, going out, meeting people, chatting, making friends. There's an event coming up next week, make sure that now there's a team of us in Bath, and we're doing a nutrition workshop next week, we're doing a makeup masterclass next week, and so now I've got the events that I can then say to people, oh, you should come along, there's a few of us going, it's going to be really fun. And someone comes along, and then they bring a friend, and then that friend joins the business. So it doesn't necessarily seem obvious on the surface of it what's going to happen, but you've just got to kind of fill your diary with lots of social stuff, lots of networking, and make the effort. You know, last night I went to an opening of a salon, and then went and did a Discover Arbonne in a venue in Bath, and got to meet a makeup artist, got to meet a woman who does social media, and just exchanged details, connected with them on Facebook, and I'll send them a message and then just see where it goes. You know, I don't necessarily expect anything to happen overnight. And of course, there are times in your business, like going for region, when I think it's a bit more frenzied. I was saying this to Danny today. You know, you don't want to play the long game because you've got a short-term goal that you're working on. So it's that balance, really, I think, in your business. It's really pushing to go for something now, and then also remembering that this is a long-term business.
Yeah. Oh, I know that time's pressing on. I want to ask as well, have you not done your eye on Arbonne? Because I couldn't find it.
No, not yet.
That's so naughty.
Well, my husband asked me that today.
Did he really?
He said to me, when are you going to do it?
How long have you been region for?
Yeah, he did. He said, when are you going to do it? I know. So approaching a year.
That's so nice. Mine's ready to go. No, I'm like, as soon as the last day of the month hits, I'm like, it's done. I know.
I think this. I think again, it's all part of you. It's all part of your journey, though, and that's, you know, there are, of course, like, everyone's different, aren't they? And I think part of being region as well, one of the things that I've found has been a massive stretch. Again, another stretch is really finding my voice and putting it out there, because I would always be fine talking to people that I didn't know, but then actually, you know, like, all of a sudden speaking to people that I didn't know and then writing it down and then putting it out to the world, like, feels like a massive thing. So although it's my story and I'm proud of it, you know, it's still, that's another step out of my comfort zone. Yeah. So I think it's, you know, and you know, I know that me doing that and hitting send is going to be a big thing for me, but I mean, I'm going to do it. It's just actually now that I need to get a headshot and I've got to get myself organised and get my photos. But it's part, you know, I think it's being aware of actually, you know, if you don't want to do a training, that's what you've got to do. If you don't want to do this, that's what you've got to do. And so it's just all part of, I think, you know, finding yourself within this business and in the place that you're at right now.
So are you going to do it?
Yeah, totally. I'm going to do it.
Have you got a date?
I know, I should write it, shouldn't I? I'll write it.
If you haven't got a date, it's just an idea.
I know, it's totally an idea. I need to get my headshot done though. I'm thinking maybe, okay, all right, I'll get a date to you, Danny.
You better. I love reading people's eye on Arbonnes.
I know, they're so good. I know. I need to do it. I'm doing it, right? Okay, all right. You've got me. I'm doing it.
This has been recorded, so when people watch it, they'll be looking for it just to make sure you've done it.
I know, but I haven't set my date yet. But I will.
Do you know what? It's been so lovely hearing you. It's a shame this call's so late because I could just go on and on. It's been really nice. I'm really looking forward to meeting you. I assume you are going to be AAC.
I am, but I say I am because I'm due. I'm having my baby at some point. Apparently around the 27th of August.
Yeah, so there's no excuses in Arbonne, but that's actually a really big reason to miss something.
I know, because I mean, you know what? I just can't. I'm not sure I want to actually sort of deliver the baby at the conference. So it might have to be a watch this space, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I want to be there, obviously, but yeah, see how it goes, see what happens.
If your baby does come around that day and you're not at AAC, I'm sure I will meet you at something.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, there'll be other things. Car presentation, your car presentation?
Yeah, I booked a car presentation actually for the first weekend in September, and I was like, this is when it's happening, this is the day. And then someone went, you do know that's AAC, don't you? And I was like, no, I didn't realise. Let's move it to the next weekend.
Yeah, probably a good move.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have had any guests.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone will be there. Everyone will want to be there. So next weekend.
So yes, that's what I've booked it for. But thank you so much for taking the time to do this call. It's been really kind of you, and everybody's right about what they say about you. You are a really, really, really lovely person.
Oh, thank you, Danny, and so are you, and all your gorgeous team as well. And I can't wait to get to meet some of you guys.
Yeah.
At something very, very soon. I recognise lots of names actually on the screen, so Yeah, I look forward to meeting you all in person.
Yes. Yeah. It's just
Go for it, guys. I'm so, it's really such an exciting time. So go for it and just embrace all aspects of this business and wake up tomorrow and just think, what am I going to do today? What am I going to do today? And just every day, what am I going to do today? Just keep push, and amazing things happen. Literally, I used to always ask myself how. I used to be my sponsor, Executive Regional Vice President Nicola Smithson. She laughs at me because I was always known as the one that would say, yeah, but how's that going to work? Yeah, but how are we going to do that? And that was a big thing that I had to let go of, because, I mean, who even knows how this business works? It's absolutely bonkers. But as in, amazing things happen. You've just got to trust that they will and say that they will. And you know what? They will. But if you doubt it or question it or try and overthink it, it just gets too complicated.
Yeah.
Just say it's happening. It's happening.
It is happening.
For all of you guys, you know, big, you know, region is the headline goal. Who wants to do the DM bonus this month? Who wants one new preferred client this month? Who wants to do 150 QV this month? Like, whatever your goal is, just make sure that you've got one.
Yeah. Yes. And I think it's really key about what you said at the beginning of this call, that every single person matters towards region, whether you joined this month, whether you're even a preferred client, whether you've just got one client, doesn't matter. Every single little bit is a contribution towards our whole team effort, and it is a whole team effort.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Right. I better let you go to bed. So thank you so much.
My absolute pleasure. So lovely to be on the call. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Rebecca, we'll speak soon.
Yes, definitely. Speak again soon.
Bye.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Great to see you all.